Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. Back in the saddle again. So let's get back into the game here on Biden's war on Texas. Over the weekend, you probably saw that the White House has put a moratorium, if you will, on new projects for liquid natural gas. Okay. Now, to give you just a little bit of background here, 51% of American households heat with natural gas. Okay. 33.5% of European households, the entire EU, get their energy derived from natural gas, whether it's using it to heat, whether it's using it to generate electricity, whatever. So better than a third in Europe. Well, let's take a look at something else here real quick. Because of Biden's war on Russia, okay, supporting Ukraine, and the restrictions put against Europe from getting Russian natural gas, now Joe has decided to stop the ability to send Europe natural gas. Right now, the United States is the number one producer of natural gas. Guess what state is the number one producer in the United States? That would be Texas. Okay. I'll show you this real quick. This is the map of the United States where the most natural gas comes from. Texas and Pennsylvania are the top two states. Okay. Louisiana, Oklahoma, Ohio, and West Virginia fall in the second tier. Notice anything they all have in common. Not a single one of those states votes for Biden. Okay. This is what he's doing. This is not a environmental thing like the left-wing media is trying to put out. Yeah, you got to remember this. Liquid natural gas is the cleanest burning, to use the bullshit term, fossil fuel of them all. Okay. It's also the most abundant. Okay. So if there's anything that can power the world, liquid natural gas is a real good source. But now Joe wants to stop the, I don't want to say production, but stop the ability for us to export it. In other words, hurting our economy. Okay? We can't sell it to Europe or anywhere else that needs it desperately. Let's just see how we can hurt the economy of those states that don't agree with Joe's idiotic green energy policies. Okay. Germany has already proven time and time again that green energy doesn't work. You know, oh, we get 60% of our electricity from solar. Good. It's a good supplement. Not going to disagree. Because you only get it in the summer. Because in the winter, what has Germany done again this winter? They brought back online their coal-fired power plants to generate electricity. But, natural gas is the cleanest burning. Coal is not. But Germany needs something to be done. They need power. They need heat before their people freeze to death. Okay? So now for 15 months, conveniently, that time frame is past the election. So Joe has appeased the environmentalists. Look, I did something for you. Vote for me, right? That's the theory. He's going to make the U.S. economy suffer because what is this going to do to all of us? It's going to drive energy prices higher. Now, we generate electricity here in the States from natural gas. Like I said, 51% of the households in the United States heat with natural gas. So this is just going to make everything more expensive. But this is not an environmental thing. This is 100% Joe trying to punish Texas and Governor Abbott for fighting him on the southern border. You're not going to let a bunch of illegals in? I'm going to do what I can to destroy your economy. And then let's see how the people like it. So you got to remember the Democrat mindset is they think when all hope is lost, that the people will come to the government and say, you have to help me. Because that's what Democrats do think. The government will save me. The government won't let me freeze. The government won't let me starve, right? Yeah. Let's take a look at historical democratic socialist governments, communist governments. I don't know, Joseph Stalin, Xi Jinping, Pol Pot. Look at any of those. Did the government come save them? No. The government just let them die, which is Joe's plan. Okay. Again, conveniently, go back to those states. Does Joe have any problem watching conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, anybody who's not a communist suffer? No. This is Joe's war on Texas. That's exactly what it is. He's trying to damage the party or damage the state and say, well, if you listen to me, we can save you. Okay, that's what it is. Give you an idea of what Joe's trying to do. Just compare these two and think about this real quick. What's going on in the Middle East right now? You have the Palestinians in Gaza, Israeli territory, okay, living there in squalor, while the Israelis are living in Israel proper, having a normal Western class life. Okay, let's just leave it that way. Can't say it's the best way I can describe it. And so what's Joe trying to do? Well, Joe's already been busted a couple of times helping the Palestinians. Okay. Joe's trying to turn Texas into the same type of situation. Let's bring in a bunch of illegals from all over the world and settle them. Because remember, Joe wants them all to stay down in Texas. Okay. He doesn't like all these. Send them up to New York, send them to Boston, Denver, Chicago. He doesn't like that. He wants them to stay in Texas. So he can create his own Gaza there with a bunch of people living in squalor who he hopes will eventually rise up and overthrow the Texas government, right? Now, whether they say it's to get votes, that's one thing. I don't think that's Joe's plan. Joe is trying to make it as impossible for American citizens in Texas to lead a successful, productive life and wants to put every pressure on them that he can. Because if you get a whole bunch of military-aged males down in Texas who are living in substandard living conditions, they're eventually going to revolt. Exactly what the Palestinians are doing, right? So Joe's idea is to eliminate Texans from Texas. Why? Because what I've said a million times before, if Texas is no longer part of the Republican base, the Democrats never lose another election. This is what's going on. This isn't about Joe being environmentally sound, because he's not. Okay. Again, solar on a large scale does not work. Renewables on a large scale, as they call them renewables, does not work, because just to give you a quick lesson here, natural gas is a renewable resource. Oil out of the ground is a renewable resource. The earth keeps creating it. It's not fossil fuels. It's not decomposing dinosaur bones. Just telling you. Okay? So he's trying to destroy Texas. Now, the people in Texas are going to stand up for this. How they stand up against the transfer stations and stuff like that for liquid natural gas, I have no idea how they're going to be able to do that. But Texas, you better get ready, because this is going to hurt your economy hard. Pennsylvania, you better get ready. Ohio, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Louisiana, you're going to get whacked on this too, just not as big of a scale. Okay. If we can't export the oil to Europe or anywhere else, okay, not oil, natural gas, that hurts our economy at home. And that also hurts our relationships with Europe. Because what's going on in Europe right now, quietly, maybe you're not seeing too much news on it, of course. The liberal left politicians in more than half of the EU are losing their bids to get seated in the new European Parliament. Overwhelmingly, the people in Europe are going back to a nationalistic system. The people in Europe are deciding globalism isn't working. The socialists, the liberal, whatever parties you want to call them in there, they're all polling like Joe is behind the conservative nationalistic candidate. Remember, I told you this: more than 40% of the world this year goes to the polls. Okay? We're going to have a paradigm shift in what happens in the world government this year. Globalism, hopefully, will die a painful death this year. Wokeness will hopefully die a painful death this year. Once the people have spoken and the sane get put back, we'll try to let's take a look at your communist policies and see if they work. And true to form, they failed again, because never in the history of the world has socialism succeeded. Okay. And I always laugh when somebody goes, "Look at Cuba. They've been socialist for 70 years. Yeah, okay. If that's the lifestyle we all want, okay, let's go there. But we're comparing to Scandinavia and stuff like that. Take a look at the population. Okay, the population of the Scandinavian countries is smaller than most of the states in the United States, and the taxes are up somewhere around 60%. Gee, let's play in this economy that they've created where everything's ridiculously expensive. Go to the grocery store and find something that ain't $10. Okay. And go, oh yeah, you know what? 60%. All the work that I did on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday went to the government, and I get to keep Thursday and Friday's earnings. And then the inflation's so freaking high, by the time it's said and done, I got nothing. That's socialism. Okay. Yeah. When you have nothing and they have everything, that's what it gets to. No, it's not successful. I hate to tell you this. But pay attention to what's going on with this. There's pushback from some members of Congress, obviously the lobbyists, etc. But there needs to be pushback from the people too. And the media, of course, the left-wing media is, of course, saying, oh, this is great. Joe's doing all this for the environment, everything like that. It has nothing to do with the environment. Joe is just trying what he can to destroy the economies in the United States and in Europe all at once, because their plan is the only savior we have is government. I'm sorry, the man upstairs certainly going to disagree with that thought. Pinball out.